Europe isn't always greener. Challenges Americans face on the continent. You close your eyes and imagine it. Cobblestone streets under the golden evening light in Paris, the aroma of fresh pasta wafting from a Roman trattoria, the quiet efficiency of a German train gliding through the verdant landscape, history whispering from every corner of Prague. Europe. For many Americans, it's the golden dream, a cultural haven, a promise of a slower pace of life, universal health care, and affordable wine. The siren song of the better life across the Atlantic is powerful, fueled by movies, literature, and enviable Instagram posts. But what if this idyllic image is only part of the story? What if, beneath the romantic veneer, there are real challenges, frustrations, and obstacles waiting for the unsuspecting American? Welcome to the often unspoken reality of moving to or traveling extensively through Europe as an American. Our channel is dedicated to providing crucial tips, important alerts, and exposing the dangers and risks Americans might encounter venturing out into the world. And today, we're going to demystify the European dream, not to discourage you, but to arm you with knowledge. Because while Europe can offer incredible, life-changing experiences, the grass isn't always greener. Sometimes, it hides rocky, unexpected terrain. Brace yourself, because we're diving deep into the challenges that can turn your European dream into an abrupt awakening. 1. The bureaucratic maze, where patience is more than a virtue. It's a necessity. If there's one word that echoes in the nightmares of many American expats in Europe, that word is bureaucracy. In the United States, we're accustomed to a certain, relative sometimes, efficiency and digitalization in many governmental and administrative processes. In Europe, prepare for a deep dive into the world of stamped paper, endless queues, and procedural logic that can seem archaic at best and Kafkaesque at worst. Visas and residence permits. This is often the first and biggest hurdle. Navigating the different types of visas, work, study, family reunification, digital nomad, etc., each with its own specific and often complex requirements, can be a full-time job. Requirements can vary dramatically not only between countries, but sometimes even between regions within the same country. Prepare to gather a mountain of documents, birth certificates, marriage certificates, criminal records, often requiring apostilles, detailed financial proofs, health insurance, letters of motivation, work or enrollment contracts, and be ready for everything to need translation by a certified translator and sometimes legalization. The process can take months, sometimes over a year, and the uncertainty during the wait can be agonizing. Annual, or biennial if you're lucky, renewals can be almost as arduous as the initial application. Delays are common, and communication from authorities can be minimal or non-existent. Residency registration, Anmeldung, empadronamiento, etc. As soon as you arrive, in many countries, like Germany, Spain, Italy, you're required to register your address with local authorities within a very short time frame, sometimes 1 to 2 weeks. This sounds simple, but it might require an official lease agreement, which in turn can be hard to get without a local bank account, which in turn can be hard to open without the residency registration. It's the famous bureaucratic catch-22, opening a bank account. While some banks are more foreigner-friendly, many may require your residence permit, which can take time to arrive, or a local tax identification number. Furthermore, due to regulations like FATCA, Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, European banks are often cautious when dealing with American citizens, requiring additional paperwork and sometimes limiting available services. Renting an apartment. The rental market, especially in popular cities, can be fierce. Prepare to provide not only proof of income, often requiring you to earn 3x the rent amount, but also a substantial security deposit, frequently 2 to 3 months' rent, and sometimes even a local guarantor. Contracts can be long, complex, and written in dense legal language, and of course, in the local language. The language barrier. All these processes are exponentially more difficult if you don't speak the local language fluently. While you might find English-speaking staff in some capitals or specific institutions, don't count on it. Forms, official websites, letters, and communications will mostly be in the local language. Hiring a translator or an immigration lawyer can become a necessary expense. Risk alert. Failure to meet bureaucratic deadlines or provide the correct documentation can result in fines, visa, permit refusal, or even being required to leave the country. The frustration and stress associated with these processes are a significant factor that leads some Americans to give up on their European dream. 2. The cost of living. Debunking the myth of cheap Europe. While some Eastern European countries or Portugal might offer a lower cost of living compared to major American cities, the idea that all of Europe is an affordable paradise is a dangerous fallacy. In many Western and Northern European countries, France, Germany, UK, Switzerland, Netherlands, Scandinavia, the cost of living can match or even exceed that of many parts of the US, especially when certain factors are considered. Housing. As mentioned, renting or buying property in desirable cities like Paris, London, Amsterdam, Munich, or Zurich can be astronomically expensive. Apartments are often much smaller than Americans are used to for the same price. Taxes. Prepare for significantly higher taxes. VAT, value-added tax, applied to most goods and services can range from 17% to 27%, depending on the country, much higher than state sales taxes in the U.S. Income taxes are also generally higher and more progressive. Furthermore, as an American citizen, you are still subject to the obligation to file and potentially pay U.S. taxes on your worldwide income, even if you live and pay taxes in Europe. Although double taxation treaties and exclusions like the foreign earned income exclusion exist to mitigate this, the complexity and cost of filing taxes in two countries is a burden. Salaries. While social benefits might be more robust, net salaries, after taxes and social contributions for many professions can be lower than their U.S. equivalents, especially in sectors like tech or finance. Converting a dollar salary figure into euros can be disappointing. Consumer goods and services. Certain items can be more expensive. Electronics, cars, and gas, American brand clothing, and even some imported food products you might be used to. Eating out regularly can significantly strain the budget in many cities. All-shani. Banking and exchange costs. Transferring money between the U.S. and Europe can incur high fees and unfavorable exchange rates if you don't use specialized services. Maintaining accounts on both continents can generate maintenance fees. Currency fluctuations can significantly impact your purchasing power or the value of your savings. Risk alert. Underestimating the real cost of living and not having a substantial financial cushion can lead to significant financial hardship, stress, and the inability to sustain your lifestyle or even basic needs. It is crucial to do detailed research and realistic budgeting before you move. 3. Cultural shock and social integration. More than just learning to say bonjour. Cultural differences go far beyond language, food, and architecture. They are subtle, profound, and can affect every aspect of your daily life, from workplace interactions to forming friendships. What is considered normal or polite in the U.S. might be viewed differently in Europe, and vice versa. Communication. Americans are often perceived as overly direct, optimistic, or loud by some Europeans. Conversely, you might find some European communication styles, e.g., Dutch or German directness, or British or French indirectness, hard to decipher or even rude. Humor also varies enormously. Subtle British sarcasm or French irony can be easily misunderstood. Work culture. While work-life balance is often praised in Europe, more vacation, shorter hours in theory, workplace dynamics can be different. Hierarchies might be stricter, decision-making slower, and the culture of office small talk less prevalent. Integrating into a team can take time, especially if there are language barriers. Career progression might also be slower. Making friends. Building a deep social circle can be one of the biggest challenges. While Europeans are generally polite and welcoming in superficial interactions, penetrating established social circles and forming genuine, close friendships can take much more time and effort than in the U.S. Many Europeans have networks of friends dating back to childhood or university, and it can be difficult for an outsider to break in. The culture of inviting people home is less common in some countries than in the U.S. Social etiquette. Small things can make a difference. Rules about punctuality, which varies enormously, how to greet people, handshakes, cheek kisses, how many. Acceptable noise levels in public spaces, tipping, rules vary widely, and even how to shop at the supermarket. Feeling like an outsider. Even after years of living in Europe, many Americans report perpetually feeling like foreigners. It might be due to the language, cultural references you don't understand, or a certain level of reserve from locals. Microaggressions or stereotypes about Americans, whether positive or negative, can be tiring. This feeling of otherness can lead to loneliness and homesickness. Risk alert. Culture shock isn't just an inconvenience. It can lead to feelings of frustration, anxiety, depression, and social isolation. Underestimating the effort required to adapt and integrate can undermine your overall experience. Navigating healthcare systems. Universal doesn't mean simple. The promise of affordable or free healthcare is a major draw of Europe. And indeed, many European countries have excellent public health systems providing a high standard of care. However, for an American used to the U.S. private system, with all its flaws, navigating the European system can be confusing and present its own challenges. Access and wait times. While emergency care is generally quick and efficient, access to specialists or certain elective surgeries through the public system can involve long wait times, sometimes months. This varies greatly by country and specialty. Limited choice. In the public system, you generally don't have as much freedom to choose your doctor or hospital as you might with private insurance in the U.S. You are often assigned a general practitioner, Hausarzt, médecin traitant, etc., who serves as a gatekeeper for specialized care. Joy idi sound, language barrier in healthcare. Finding doctors, nurses, and administrative staff who speak fluent English can be a challenge, especially outside major cities or in countries where English is less widely spoken. Communicating complex symptoms or understanding diagnoses and treatments in a foreign language can be stressful and lead to misunderstandings. Mixed systems, public-private. Many countries have mixed systems. You might opt for private health insurance to get faster access to specialists, more choice, and perhaps better amenities, like private hospital rooms. However, this private insurance comes at an additional cost. Some expats choose to maintain international or expat-specific health insurance, which can be expensive. Understanding coverage. What exactly is covered by the public system and by the private? Are there co-pays? How does coverage for prescription drugs work? What about dental or vision care? which are often not fully covered by the basic public system. Each country has its own rules, and understanding them requires research. Differences in medical approach. You might encounter differences in treatment philosophy. Some European doctors may be more conservative with prescriptions, especially antibiotics or strong painkillers, or prefer a wait-and-see approach compared to the sometimes more interventionist approach common in the U.S. Risk alert. Assuming the healthcare system will cover everything or be easy to navigate can lead to unpleasant surprises, unexpected expenses, or difficulties in getting the care you need promptly. It's vital to research the specific healthcare system of the country you're moving to and consider your insurance needs, public, private, international. 5. Safety and security. Nuances. Constant vigilance is key. While Europe is generally considered safe, with significantly lower rates of violent crime than in many parts of the U.S., it's not without risks. Complacency can make you an easy target, especially in tourist areas. Petty crime, pickpocketing, and theft. This is perhaps the most common risk for tourists and expats. Pickpockets are extremely skilled and operate in crowded places like public transport, subways, buses, train stations, popular tourist attractions, and markets. They might work alone or in groups, using distraction techniques. Theft of bags or phones left unattended at cafes or terraces is also common. Scams and fraud. Numerous scams target tourists or newcomers who seem disoriented. From the classics, the found gold ring, fake petitions, taxi drivers taking unnecessary detours or having rigged meters, to more elaborate online schemes related to apartment rentals or job offers. Public transport. While generally efficient, it can be hotspots for petty crime. Transport strikes are relatively common in some countries, France, Italy, Greece, and can cause major disruptions to your travel plans or daily commute. Be aware of schedules and have backup plans. Accommodation security. Ensure your accommodation, hotel, Airbnb, apartment, has adequate security measures. In some areas, residential burglaries can occur. Terrorism and civil unrest. While the risk of being directly affected by a terrorist attack is statistically low, the threat exists and can lead to increased security measures, checks, and a certain level of anxiety. Demonstrations and protests are also more common in some European cities, and, while generally peaceful, can become disruptive or, rarely, violent. It's wise to avoid large crowds or demonstrations. Risk alert. Letting your guard down because you feel safe in Europe can make you vulnerable to petty crimes that can ruin a trip or cause significant hassle. Maintaining the same vigilance you would in a major American city is essential. Be aware of your surroundings, protect your belongings, and educate yourself about common scams in the area you're visiting or living in. 6. Career and employment obstacles. Finding your place in the European job market. Unless you're transferred by your American company, retired, or financially independent, finding employment in Europe as an American can be a significant challenge. Work permits. Most European countries prioritize their own citizens and those from the EU/EEA. To hire an American, a company often needs to prove they couldn't find a qualified local candidate, the so-called labor market test. This makes obtaining a company-sponsored work visa more difficult. Recognition of qualifications. Your American degrees, professional licenses, or certifications may not be automatically recognized in Europe. You might need to go through equivalency processes or obtain local certifications, which can be time-consuming and expensive. Language barrier at work. Even if you work for a multinational where English is the official language, lack of fluency in the local language can limit your advancement opportunities, your ability to fully interact with colleagues and clients, and your overall integration into the company culture. For many roles, local fluency is simply a non-negotiable requirement. Networking and job searching. The way people look for jobs can differ. Networking, who you know, might be even more crucial in some countries. Expectations for resumes, CVs, and cover letters can vary, e.g., whether to include a photo, personal details. Salary expectations. As mentioned earlier, be prepared for the possibility of lower net salaries than you might expect in the U.S. for a similar role. Risk alert. Coming to Europe hoping to find something without a concrete plan, the appropriate visa, or highly sought-after qualifications can lead to long periods of unemployment, financial difficulties, and the need to return to the U.S. 7. The romanticization versus reality gap. Managing expectations and mental health. Perhaps one of the most subtle yet profound challenges is the psychological adjustment that occurs when the idealized image of Europe collides with the realities of daily life. That movie you saw or the blog you read probably didn't show the hours spent in line at the prefecture, the frustration of trying to decipher a utility bill, or the loneliness of a Tuesday night in a city where you don't know anyone yet. Homesickness. Missing family, friends, familiar food, American conveniences, yes, even 24/7 stores or free refills, is normal and can be intense, especially during holidays or difficult times. Frustration with inefficiencies. Things that might seem simple in the U.S., returning a product, resolving an issue with internet service, store opening hours, especially on Sundays, can be more complicated or slower in Europe, leading to feelings of powerlessness or irritation. Loss of identity or independence. Navigating a new system in a foreign language can make you feel less competent or independent than you're used to. You might have to rely on others for basic tasks initially. 目标轴. Constant comparison. The tendency to constantly compare everything to how it was in the U.S. can hinder adaptation and appreciation of the new experiences on their own merits. Risk alert. Ignoring the psychological impact of the move and adaptation can lead to burnout, disillusionment, and a premature decision to abandon the experience. It's crucial to be patient with yourself, seek support, other expats, online groups, therapy if needed, and adjust your expectations. Conclusion. Europe with eyes wide open. Europe is undoubtedly a fascinating continent, rich in history, culture, and beauty. Living or traveling here can be one of the most enriching experiences of your life. However, as we've seen, the journey is rarely free of obstacles. Bureaucracy can test your patience, the cost of living can surprise your budget, cultural differences can challenge your perceptions, and navigating local systems can require considerable effort. The goal of this realistic look isn't to paint a negative picture, but rather a complete one. Being aware of these challenges allows you to prepare better, financially, mentally, and logistically. It allows you to approach your European adventure not with rose-tinted glasses, but with eyes wide open, ready to face difficulties with resilience and a sense of humor. Overcoming these challenges is part of the adventure. Learning to navigate a foreign bureaucratic system, making friends in a different culture, mastering the basics of a new language, these are achievements that bring immense satisfaction and personal growth. Europe might not always be greener, but the ground it cultivates within you as you face its complexities can flourish in unexpected ways. Your turn to share. Have you lived or traveled extensively in Europe? What were the biggest challenges you faced as an American? Share your experiences, tips, and alerts in the comments below. Your story could help others prepare better. If you found this content helpful and want more realistic tips, important alerts, and information about the risks and dangers Americans face around the world, be sure to subscribe to our channel and so hit the notification bell. Follow us on social media too for updates and exclusive content. And if you know someone dreaming of Europe or planning a move, share this article with them. Being informed is the first step towards a successful and safe adventure. Until next time, travel smart and stay safe.